Who is Randy?
Don't bring anyone mother into this.
Your mom in the fucking stand!
My mom mooned somebody at a comedy show once.
At a comedy show? At one of your shows? No. Wait, tell me what happened.
It was a show back in Kansas City, back home, and the headliner that night, I wasn't even headlining at the time. The headliner that night started getting into it with my mom, like, cause she was kind of chattering, kind of heckling a little bit.
Your mother, as you're featuring?
As I was featuring.
Dude, that is horrible.
And I just killed. I just had a great set. I'm feeling great. And then, you know when you hear something backstage where you're like, no, that's not a familiar voice, is it?
Oh,
that's he's not talking to my mom, is he? And then they start going back and forth.
No.
So then he does this thing where he's trying to joke with her, like, to try to, like, ease the situation.
Yeah.
But my mom is kind of besting him and kind of like being funnier.
Nice.
He calls me back to the stage and says, "Handle your mom." Dude.
Wait, he knows it's your mom?
Yes.
He calls you.
Wait, are you mortified at this point?
Dude, it was horrible.
Because I'm telling you right now, I would have physically assaulted my mother if she had done this.
I literally had to so he called me back on stage.
Yeah.
And I go, fuck. Hey, I grabbed the mic. I just killed, by the way. I felt great about my set.
People are at the
I'm
show?
back home. Oh, there's probably 100, 150 people there. I go back out on stage. I grab the mic and I go, "Hey, Mom, you're in the wrong here. Let him do the show.
Fuck.
And just calm down and let him do his thing up here." And then I walked off stage.
Oh my God, dude.
It was
there. You know, you might have the only story like this in the world.
Yeah, yo.
I mean, I don't know that anybody else would tell the same story.
It was insane.
And wait, what was it like? Okay, well, then when did she moon him?
So yeah,
right then
they were going back and forth, and then like he I think he called her white trash or something at some point.
Oh my God.
Which, that's very common for white people to call each other that in Kansas. This is not that big of a deal. But then one of the other audience members started calling my mom white trash too, and then they start going at each other, and then my mom moons the comic on stage, and it's kind of like an FU to the people who are against her, and then he called me out on stage, and then I'm like, "Hey, can you chill a little bit?" And
was she hammered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does it go? Like, what's the conversation like with you and your mom, either that night or the next day?
Well, that night she was like, "I can't believe you sided with him."
I mean, it's
the next day, big apologies and stuff like that.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she know. But the night...
Are you like, you can never come to a show again?
Well, no, but
what?
It's ironic. My new special that's out, I filmed it back home in Kansas City.
Uh-huh.
And the premise of the special is that they sat my family up front without telling me.
Horrible.
So I have my mom and her new husband on one side of the stage, and my dad and his new wife on the other side of the stage. And my mom ends up heckling me at one point in the special, and I bring her up on stage, roast her a little bit, and then we share a nice special moment as mother and son. But like,
do you like having family up front?
No.
Yeah,
I would have never in a million years as a comedian asked the club to do that.
Why did they do it?
I think she asked, and whoever, like, I always tell at least one member of the staff, like, "Hey, these people are coming tonight. They're on my guest list. Make sure that they don't sit anywhere." Where can people see the special? Front. It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, we gotta fucking plug it.
Yeah,
man.
what's it called?
It's called Family Reunion.
Family Reunion. It's on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime for rental now. For all the mommies out there, it becomes free on April 8th, so you can just wait to watch it for free on Prime on April 8th.
Do it. Watch the special.
Yeah.
Because you're super funny, man. Really, really funny.
Yeah, you're so funny.
I remember, when you say that, I remember talking about it can start to get my blood pressure up. When I did a show one time, and my sister was like, "I'm coming to the show with like a couple friends." And I was like, "Okay." And this was a packed house.
This is already stressing me out.
Yeah.
This literally as a comic
story,
hearing about. But yeah.
And so my whole thing is like, the only thing is, I don't say front row. I say, don't be anywhere near the front.
Eye lines.
Yeah. I just want you in the front at all.
Right.
Okay. And I was like, that's the only thing I'm telling you. And I get on stage, front row. And like, so when I got, and her friend started heckling. Oh, man. Right? And I was like looking at her, and I got off, and I was like, are you fucking stupid or something? Like, do you not understand what I meant by that? And she was like, well, that's where they wanted to sit. And I go, but I told you, like, if you're coming to my show, I don't want you near
anywhere
the front.
Near
What part of that do you not understand?
It's your work. I don't understand people it's your place of business.
Dude, I had gotten her a room at the hotel I was staying at. I told them to cancel the room. I was like, don't, and also don't talk to me, don't call me, don't text me. I don't want to see you. And I didn't speak to her for 6 months.
Yeah.
I was like, you're a piece of shit for doing that.
Yeah.
How do you ignore the one, like I'm telling you the one thing that I don't want you to do, and you do exactly that?
It was weird that the night that
so
happened
disrespectful.
at the mooning incident.
Yeah.
The headliner later and I talk about an awkward green room after that show because I have the rest of the weekend with him.
Oh my God, dude.
He comes back and he ended up
stressed out. I hate this so much.
Yeah.
He ended up apologizing to me though, and I'm like, I'm really sorry on behalf of my mom that happened, but I'm like, also though, like, dude, that was probably the worst situation that you could have put me in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What,
I
he
was
should
like,
have handled it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like,
He's the
as a comic,
headliner.
I'm like,
yeah, it's your house.
make a joke of it or
figure
something,
it
but
out.
like pulling me back on the stage,
Yeah.
I'm like, you put me in a rough situation. And
Exactly.
he ended up apologizing.
Well,
he's like, I'm sorry, man. Like I should have
Because-
never done that.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely should not have done
handle
that.
it.
And it's
Handle
about like who's accountability for that.
It sucks. It's just
Yeah.
a bad situation all around.
Well, the
but-
funny thing is, you bring that up, and now I remember that what really pissed me off about it, like what made me so upset with her, is that my sister goes, when I kept spelling out, I told you this, how do you do it? She called me to apologize that they did it. So I was like, no, it's on you.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm sorry that my friends and
Hold yourself
Stop-
accountable.
yeah, stop saying
I
it's their
talked to
fault.
you.
It's
I
your
was
fault.
talking to your
Yeah.
friend. Yeah.
And she was like, I'm sorry. I want to apologize that my friends didn't. No, I go, that doesn't work because you're not saying you're sorry. You're saying that I'm sorry that someone else did something.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you
My
did
friend
it.
was a big inconvenience.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for
Sorry
that.
about
It's
that.
like, no.
Yeah.
Just own it. Just own it.
God, I would have set her on fire that night if you'd given me fucking gas.
Why do people think it's okay to yell out and like?
I think
A
it's
lot of times it's
drunk.
alcohol.
It's alcohol.
I think a lot of it's alcohol related. I think also when somebody who I think this happens a lot at comedy shows who I've found because I've had a lot of I'm very riffy. I work off the crowd. I do a lot of improv in my act. And if somebody feels like they are the funny guy at work, they think that this is their shot to prove to their buddies or
Yes.
whatever that they're as funny as the comic on stage
professional,
that they went to see.
Yeah.
So they'll shout out something dumb, but then they end up most of the time getting eviscerated by the comic because that's what we do every night of the week.
Yeah.
Like,
But I understand that the average. I get that, but my family's heckled me as well. My father.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
We've all been heckled by our own family. Like, and so it was when I started hosting at the Laugh Factory, maybe 2006. So this is my big first gig in LA. I'm emceeing the Friday shows. It's a big gig. It's a big deal to a new comic. And so my dad brings all the Hungarians out to watch me. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Real savages too.
And they're savage. Yeah. They're not normal. And I'm
just
like,
slamming the tables, more drink.
yeah. Fucking. And I remember, I forget what the joke was that I told in my set. And I'm the first comic, mind you, I'm the MC. So I'm setting the tone for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I say a joke and he goes, yeah, right. So he wasn't drunk yet because I'm the first comic of the night. Unless he was drunk before he came in.
Which is possible.
Which is highly likely, yeah. But I remember the feeling of absolute betrayal.
Yeah.
Like, this is my moment and
part of it,
my dad is heckling.
Part of it is that the people, I think what happens is they don't realize that, like, we have dedicated our artistic lives. Like, this is our job, and we've tried to work at it to the point where you can have a show and people can come to it, and like for them, they're like, oh, it's like someone, like you just went up there and grabbed a mic and you're fucking
gosh.
around. Like,
Yeah.
I want to fuck around too. This is fun.
Exactly.
It's like, it's not having an understanding or respect for like the show. But that only happens in stand-up. It doesn't happen at a play or a musical or any other live performance.
I can cry too, pussy.
Yeah, that's exactly. But they see stand-up and they're like, oh, I'm going to participate.
I'm funny.
Yeah.
I remember I did that club that you had just done. And one time it was like, you know, whatever, 10 minutes into my set where this guy was talking and I go, hey, man, are you going to do this the whole show? Like everything I say, you're saying. And he goes, this is how I have fun.
Oh my God.
And I go, yeah, no one else is having fun.
Yeah.
So at that point, like security came over and said something to him, and he goes, I see him gesture. He goes, but that's why I come to this. I come to this to
He
like
thought that he was playing
part
a
of
big
the show.
role.
He's like, this is the fun part is to come to the show and talk to you. I'm like, that's not what I signed up for though.
The amount
this is what you signed up for.
The amount of hecklers I've had come up to me after shows who were horrible during the show.
Yeah.
Who are like, we did some good work tonight. I'm
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
what?
No, you were a nightmare.
But
I wanted
don't-
you to die
Yeah.
during the show.
Die.
Yeah.
But don't you think as a parent, like, I'm sorry, I'm still hung up on my dad
Yeah.
heckling me. Like, if we were to see one of our sons up on
Oh
stage,
my God.
isn't it the last thing in the
Yes.
world you would?
But you're saying that
conceive?
because you have such an understanding of how it works.
I
And you
th-
also love your sons
Yeah.
so much.
Like, I want to go to my dad's office where he works, and as he was working, be like, "You suck."
No,
Yeah,
I would be
right,
in the
like-
corner just like probably,
Yeah,
and I'd probably
wow.
shed a tear. And then if someone heckled my kid, I would pull a fucking Glock out of my pants.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Yeah.
bludgeon them
Yeah.
to death.
Yeah.
Like your mom heckled.
I
you.
think that hers, honestly, at the end of the day, comes from a supportive place. I know
It
that
does. She
sounds
just doesn't
weird.
understand.
She doesn't understand
She was
because, like,
ripped,
she
too.
was all. It's one of those things where she would come to my basketball games growing up, and she would be yelling out stuff above all the other parents, like, "That's my baby," you know, all that stuff. And I think that she like saw that would get laughs and a positive response, so she would just start to try to do that at comedy shows too.
And did that mortify you when she did it at your games growing up, like screaming louder than the other moms? And I kind of was able to laugh it off. I've like always been a very like outgoing person and I'm just like, but it was
my
still
mom.
embarrassing. No.
I mean, slightly as a teenager, you kind of have to be like, yeah, that's my mom, you know.
Yeah, you just want them to not be there. Your parents, like, you want them to disappear,
For
just quietly be there.
almost like a quietly be there kind of thing, like where it's like when it's done, I'm proud of you once it's done, showing
Yeah.
affection in that way, kind of thing.
Just don't embarrass me during the thing.
Yeah, I had a. You were talking about the emceeing at the Laugh Factory. One of the early gigs that I had was emceeing the Laugh Factory, and my wife at the time, we were dating, and I was inviting a bunch of people on the guest list to show up.
Yeah.
And this girl who was a comic came, and she said that she was my girlfriend, and she told the staff that. And
Wait, a comic said that?
a comic told this
Just
to
like-
try to get out of drinks, out of the 2-drink minimum. She's like, no, I'm Jeremiah's girlfriend.
Oh.
And my wife turns around and hears this
No.
because she's hearing this comic just be like, no, that's my boyfriend up there. Like, so I don't have to pay for drinks. And then my wife talked to me after the show. She's like, do you know who this girl is? I was like, yeah, I put her on my guest list. And like, luckily my wife was chill about it, but like this girl made a psycho move to just try to circumvent the 2-drink minimum.
Did they?
She could have
They
just
ended
said
up-
she was a comic. They
I
don't make
know.
comics.
Did
do
they
2-drink.
comp her?
Yes. And then I was that guy with the crazy girlfriend at the Laugh Factory. He's like,
Oh.
I'm not paying for drinks. I'm his girlfriend.
Oh my
Holy shit.
God.
Meanwhile, my wife, she's paying for drinks. I was like, this bitch over here.
Yeah.
I did my
Gangster-ass
2-drink
move,
minimum.
man.
Oh, you just watched a highlight from your mom's house. And if you want to see more, just watch one of these videos or highlights here and definitely subscribe here. That way you can be kept abreast of all the brand new. Yes, I said the word, Tom. Don't judge me with your eyes.
Try it out.